Good morning, family. You have tuned in to the Better Show here on KAZI FM 88.7 on your FM dial. And if you're listening to us via the interweb, we are at www.kazifm.org, and we thank you for listening. You got Kimberly Bradford Brown here.
And Miss Lisa Martin. Welcome to the Better Show.
Yes. And we have a very special guest here to help us to celebrate, and I do mean celebrate,
Yes.
Men's Health Month.
Yes.
Men are an important part of the world.
Yes,
And
they are.
so we want them to live a better life. And that's why we have our good friend here, Dr. Eric.
Dr. Eric.
Dr. Eric, you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization?
Sure. Well, first of all, good morning, Better Show family. Thank you all to Lisa and Kimberly for the warm invite to this show this morning. And I'm so happy to be here to speak during Men's Health Month. It's a great opportunity anytime I get to talk about men's health because men typically don't talk about it themselves. But
Right.
I'm Eric Taylor. I'm a family nurse practitioner here in the city of Houston. I've been doing this for about 25 years. Last 15 of those years, I've been doing it as a nurse practitioner. And I predominantly take care of men, but I can see everybody. But I've had a passion for caring for men because of the challenges that I know men face in the healthcare system. So I'm here today to share some knowledge on some challenges that we know all men deal with. And hopefully we will save some lives in this process and help you all live happier, healthier, and better lives. So thank you all again for the opportunity.
Wow. I'm just curious. I'm going to start out. I'm just curious. What drew you to that profession? I'm just curious.
Okay, so y'all ready to laugh and learn? Because I like to laugh.
Let's just laugh and learn.
That's right.
All right. So when I was in school, I was a pretty good quarterback. Never had a problem with the ladies, and I was a class clown, so I was always laughing and stuff. So we had a career day and had an opportunity to spend time talking to different professionals. And there was this very beautiful lady that came in. Now, you know me, I'm like, man, I don't care what she do. I'm talking to her. I didn't want to see what she do because she was beautiful. So started talking to her, come to find out she was a nurse. And that was like, okay. And I started thinking, I'm like, if I go to college, and apparently all the women are in the nursing program. And if I go over to the nursing program, it's going to be a straight buffet of women.
Not the buffet.
So I'm like, okay, I probably can do this. And then, so that was just being funny. That's just me being funny because that's me. But my my senior year of football, I had a concussion and it changed my life because I thought I was going to do something with football. I was pretty good. I ended up getting taken care of by another female nurse practitioner. And she did such a great job in caring for me, making sure I understood what was happening, the follow-up and everything. And I was impressed. So I asked her, how did you become a nurse practitioner? And she told me the journey. I'll never forget, I went back to the school and told my guidance counselor, I said, Miss Stevens, I want to be a nurse because one day I want to be a nurse practitioner. She was down at her desk. She looked up at me like, child, please, you're going to be playing football somewhere. Get out of my office. She didn't take me serious. So long story short, I found out how to get in nursing school. And I really had a passion for it because I like helping people. And I hardly ever meet a stranger. And nursing was the great opportunity for me to do a job that would allow me to be able to take care of myself and my family and have instant gratification as far as the reward I received from being able to help someone during their healthcare challenges that they were having. So long story short, I went to LPN school and then I went to RN school and then I went back and got my master's, became a nurse practitioner. And that's pretty much the story. I've been doing it ever since and I love it. I wouldn't change it for anything in the world.
Wow, that is a very inspirational story. I'm going to have to make sure my son listens to this show today because he's in nursing school right now and he's 30 something and kind of just changed the trajectory of his life too, working as a construction foreman. And he has this exact same personality as you have.
Wow.
Funny, very outgoing, loves to help people. When he's done with his RN, he's going to be an excellent nurse, just like you. That's why I asked the question, because he's currently in the trenches right now. So thanks for that inspiration. It's really good.
Welcome. Much continued success to him.
Thank
There's a
you.
lot of opportunity out there in nursing for men.
Yes. And the industry needs more men, I believe.
I was just about to say that, period. Nurses are so needed. So to hear your story is inspirational on a lot of different levels.
Yes.
I'm going to make sure his wife doesn't listen,
that.
though, because he can't be running after the honeys and stuff like that.
Well,
the buffet. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
He doesn't have to run. I mean, I met my wife in nursing school. So again, that goes to tell you how that turned out. But you being a masculine man that is on your square, doing what you're supposed to do, and you're not really supposed to be there because I'm always one of few. He's going to stand out like a sore thumb. Now, everybody's going to be intrigued and interested as to why you here? How did you get here? They're going to want to hear his story. So, hey, tell him to use it to his advantage. It's going to open a lot of doors. Will help him ascend the ladder. So,
yes, I believe that. I believe that.
That's good stuff.
Thank you.
Look, and being with Texas Workforce Commission, there's so many different training opportunities and the like that are available to men and women who want to go into nursing.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that story. And kind of just moving into our topic at hand here, what are some of the big issues that you see men dealing with as far as their health is concerned?
Well, first of all, we are stubborn creatures, and I'm speaking honestly, men. So don't get mad at the host. I'm saying this because I'm a man and I can say it, and I know how stubborn we are. We're stubborn. We think we know it all. We think we can fix it all on our own. We take better care of the car, the truck, the van, the tractor, everything around the house, and then we ignore this body. And then when things start to happen and your wife or your friend been telling you to go see the doctor, you don't go down there because you think you can fix it. And men typically suffer in silence from the following things: hypertension undiagnosed. There's so many men walking around with high blood pressure, high as the Empire State Building, and they don't check it. Or if they check it, they blame it on something else. Ooh, I shouldn't have ate all them pork rinds and chitlins and all that sausage and red meat at the family reunion. They've always got something to blame it on without really addressing the underlying issue. Then we have a severe case of deniabetes in our community.
Deniabetes.
Yeah, you got a little bit, what you call it? I'm from Alabama, so we used to call it, she just got the sugar.
Sugar.
Yeah. But what is the sugar? Oh, she got diabetes. No, she just got a touch of it, baby. She ain't got the whole thing. But yeah, we have a severe case of deniabetes in our community. And a lot of us, because of how we eat, we don't move, and the things that we drink, and then we eat all this stuff and drink all this stuff, and then we go lay down. So, and then we have actually fatty liver is on the rise in our community as well. A lot of us are a little bit carrying around a lot more weight than we should. And a lot of it has to do with the foods that we're eating. And again, the lack of activity. And then in our community as well with men, we tend to self-medicate with alcohol. And instead of going and getting the help we need from some of the mental health things that we're dealing with, some of life struggles that we're dealing with, or just the stress of every day being a man, a provider, protector, and all that. A lot of men self-medicate with alcohol, and sometimes they overdo it. And when they overdo it, it is to alcoholic liver disease. So then from that, stroke, heart attack, kidney disease, and death. But that's kind of what I see the most of with men. If we can get them into the office, we can address some of those things. But it's been my experience, what brings men into the office is below the belt issues.
Yep.
Oh, I think I misunderstood.
You have to get really, really bad for a man to finally say, hey, I'm going in, or the prompting of a female.
I thought he said below the belt.
Yeah, below the belt
issues.
Too.
Right. But what I'm adding to that and saying men have to get really, really, really bad before they finally go to the doctor. Yeah, I heard the below.
Oh, okay. I'm like, okay, am I the only one getting this stuff?
I heard it.
But the other thing that men will do too is if a close friend in their circle, I like to call it their circle of menfluence. Y'all know who they are. You know all the men your man hang with that influence him either positively, hopefully mostly positively, but negatively as well. If somebody in that circle of menfluence were to have a stroke or die all of a sudden, some men will be like, you know what? This is the year. I'm gonna go get checked. John just died all of a sudden. That was my boy. we got to put him in the ground, but now we need to make sure we do our part to be here. So then they'll come in as well. So true.
Mm-hmm.
So I would stand to say that you typically don't see men going in for their annual well check.
No, we sure don't. And I tell men all the time, I said, men, if you have kids that are in school, grade school, most men will take their kids to the doctor more than they'll take themselves. And then they start thinking, and be like, have you thought about it like that?
Mm-hmm.
Your wife will leave a list. If that baby ain't sick, you can take it to the doctor. But if that baby's sick, you forget that mama taking that baby.
Yep.
Yeah. But if it's just a well visit, all she needs is a shot or get the ear looked at or something like that. Mama gonna have you take that baby to the doctor while she's gonna do something else. And dads don't realize you done took Trey, you done took little Vanessa, whoever, whatever her name is, you done took all of them to the doctor, and you be like, you ain't even taking yourself to the doctor. Right. And then your annual visit a lot of times is free because of the insurance plans that you have, and they won't even come in.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
Any man should come and see you because you are hilarious.
I make them laugh.
You make it a very pleasant experience already. I can already tell.
Oh yeah, I make them laugh. I make them very comfortable. I get stuff out of them. Sometimes their spouse can't even get out of them.
Right. I can see that. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just wanted to talk about Pryority Mail for just 1 second.
Okay.
How did you come up with that name, and tell us a little bit about it?
Okay, so I was a former ICU nurse. I worked in the ICU for about 10 years, and I've seen death way more than I care to see. I've gone to the morgue way more than I care to go. And you know that stuff y'all see on TV with them running codes and pumping on the chest and all that stuff? Been there, done that 10 times over. Got the T-shirt and the mug to prove it. But I started to see a trend, men of color, men that look like me, my Hispanic brothers and sisters, my Indian brothers and sisters. I started seeing them coming in way too young with strokes, heart attack, pneumonia, and all these different things. And they were dying from this. And I would have these uncomfortable conversations at the bedside because, again, like I said, I'm a people person. I hardly ever meet a stranger. If I'm taking care of your loved one, you just became a member of my extended family. And they know that. So when they would come into the hospital, they would be, where's Eric? Where's Eric? And I would tell them what was going on. I gave them blow by blow, and I would put it on a level where they could really understand it, because sometimes the doctors talk way up here. And I would just bring it down like, hey, this is what we're dealing with. But having those uncomfortable conversations at the bedside, I'll never forget, it was a family right before I left the ICU, because I was in the NP school at the time. She said, you are so good at what you do. Why don't you do this in the community? I thought about that thing. I was like, okay, maybe I can go around and, talk a little bit to some of the schools and stuff like that. So she kind of lit the spark there for me, because I've been seeing the trend. I said, well, maybe somebody needs to do something. And what can I do? What can little old me do to change this narrative or the trajectory of where these men are going? So I started small. I would start at churches and schools and people that I knew, and I would share this message. And at that time, I was just doing it as my name, Eric Taylor. I didn't have Priority Mail. But then God deposited in my heart and spirit one day that you need something that can catch their attention. And Priority Mail, where men's health is the priority, was given to me. Wow. And I was like, okay. And I changed, it's PRYORITYMALE. And I changed the I to a Y, because that's not how priority is spelled. Right. Because it takes an X and a Y chromosome to create a male. So that's why I removed the I and placed a Y. And then the rest is pretty much history. So I started it small in churches and schools. I got requests from a lot of different people. And then, I started on social media, started on Facebook and Instagram, and it started very slow. It was my purpose and my passion, because my goal was to do my part to leave this world better than I found it. Wow. And I wanted people to know that between my sunrise and sunset, this is what I was attempting to do or tried to do, and leave my mark behind, because we all know, hey, everybody got a sunset coming in their life.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that with the time that I was given and the gift that I was given, that I had put something out into the world that would live on beyond my time. And hopefully on the time I was here, I would see benefits from it, where people would get the message and would use that to better care for themselves. So that's why I do it. And I love doing that, because, again, I've been blessed with an opportunity to learn some things that and be able to digest it and put it on a level to where most people can understand it. Some very complex medical processes, I can take it and break it down very easily and share it to where people get it and then they understand the importance of it. And for me, that's what I'm supposed to be doing at this point.
Wow.
That's so good.
That is so phenomenal. I mean, that is your dash.
Yes,
That's it.
Oh my gosh, took the words right out of my mouth.
That's it.
That is your dash.
Yes.
And it's so refreshing to hear not only a man, but a Black man who knows and has, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that is your purpose and that you're living out your purpose. And you said something that's really good for this show is that to make one better.
Yes.
And that's what we're all about, is to make each other better. Wow. What a blessing you are already. I can tell. We haven't even gotten into the second question and I'm just blown away. So thank you. And again, I'm going to follow up with you, or at least connect my son with you, because that is his goal. Exactly what you're saying is exactly what he's striving to do with his nursing degree. And he wants to go beyond just a hospital, but out in the community. So that's the reason why he wanted to become a nurse. Almost verbatim what you just said. So anyway,
sound like a kindred spirit.
A kindred spirit of yours. And wow. This is going to go into a part 2. I'm just going to say that now.
That's fine. I would love to come back. I'm game.
Why do you think it's important that men get annual wellness exams?
Well, the way healthcare is today, and medicine has really advanced, and we have a lot of opportunity to prevent a lot of things and manage them and still give you 3 scores and 10, as the good book say you're supposed to get here on this planet, But a lot of us, we die prematurely because of what we're not doing and some of the things that we are doing. And for men, if you can be proactive, and the bulk of your healthcare screenings that you're going to benefit from that are going to likely save your life take place between the 4th and 7th decade of life. So from 40 to 75 is where most of the healthcare screenings that men and women, y'all start a little earlier, but for men between 40 and 75 is where most of those healthcare screenings take place. And if you just come in once a year and let the doctor check your blood pressure, do some blood work, check your cholesterol, your blood sugar, look at your prostate, if you have a history of family history of prostate, and just kind of give you a general look over, there are some things we can pick up on early and we can be very proactive and prevent them from becoming out of control. But again, I'm very familiar with the history of this country. I'm very familiar with the history of medicine in this country, and Black folk don't have the best relationship with medicine. I'm from Alabama, not far from Tuskegee, where the Tuskegee experiment took place. So you know how that played out. And a lot of men, a lot of our people still recall what they did under the guise of so-called government help. And we've never really trusted medicine because of that. And with that, there's still a lot of hangups for men to come in, because for men, and I can speak honestly, you don't like to show weakness. And for a lot of men, going to the doctor is a weakness. And I can't get that to save my life. So, but coming in annually and getting that physical exam can help keep you here for the time that you're supposed to be here. And most men will take that car, that truck, and get more work done on that car, that truck, than they will his body. And I can't understand it.
And it's true. That's absolutely. How do you change that mindset? What do you do?
Well, that's a tough one.
That's a hard question.
Like the $64,000 question.
Yeah.
You ain't never lied. That's the $1 million question right there. If I had an answer to that one, I probably wouldn't be on your show.
I'm wondering if you could ask the men that have that issue, what's the barrier? Okay, maybe I'm probably going too deep.
No, you're not going too deep. Just a perfect question. But in my many years of doing this, it doesn't matter the race of the man. I want to be clear on that too. Now, there are more hangups with Black men with certain things, but when it comes to men not coming to the doctor, it doesn't matter. It's across the board. Women are 3 times more likely to go to the doctor. And then you guys get together with your sisters and your friends, and y'all don't let y'all get no mimosas in your, oh my God. Y'all talking about everything under your clothes and everything, the man and all that other stuff, because women talk like that, And in those conversations that sisters have, talking about what's happening with your, cycle and different things like that, Someone in your circle of that sisterhood life is going to be saved because of what you women talk about.
Right.
Men, we talk about everything but what's going on with our health.
Gotcha.
Talk about guns, cars, cigarettes, sports, all that other stuff, women. And then we don't talk about our health.
What's going on in health? Yeah.
What's going on with our health? We don't encourage one another. It's not a safe space for men at time to share that vulnerability or weakness. And it takes a really strong man to be vulnerable and weak amongst his brothers.
Right.
And then to go get that help and come back and share that testimony with them. And then even with that, sometimes it's not enough to convince men to go in. So I wish I had the answer to that question, but there's a variety of different responses and scenarios that I see that play out. And I don't have an honest, straightforward answer for you. I just know men are stubborn. They try to fix it themselves. And when they come in, as Lisa said earlier, it's always almost on death's door.
Yeah. I know that health is health. And, you know, we as men and women have, did I say we as men? We as humans.
We got you, sis. I got you.
Have health matters that we need to attend to, but are there any health matters that are specifically owned by men that women don't have to really deal with those things?
Yeah, prostate cancer being at the top of that list, especially men of color. Women don't have that organ. So yeah, prostate cancer is really there. But again, prostate cancer is not what it used to be 20 years ago, y'all. But the key is being screened, understanding your risk, knowing your family history. And let me go in a different direction real quick right here.
Sure.
We miss a lot of opportunities at our family reunions. And let me tell you why. At the family reunion, everybody gets together. Multiple generations get together. And most of us are looking for where they playing spades, where the lemonade, and where the shade tree at. And we should be sitting down with one another and figuring out the health of the different generations. For me, for instance, if they tell me I look like Uncle Willie, and Uncle Willie is 25, 30 years older than me, and when I get to the family reunion, I look at him and be like, oh yeah, we do look alike. We all are from that same genetic pool. If Uncle Willie is willing to sit down and tell me about his health challenges and I look like him and we all from the same gene pool, this is the perfect opportunity for me to see what's happening in Uncle Willie's health life so I can be more proactive and make sure I can go ahead and tell my doctor, hey, Uncle Willie said this, and this, and we look alike. We're from the same family. I might want to be screened for that. But I want to share that because a lot of times family reunions are a great opportunity to have a health discussion, and we never talk about health. And if we're getting together again, it's for the funeral, and that's sad.
Yes.
Yeah,
but
that's really good.
But prostate cancer is at the top for men. Low testosterone is another one that will bring men into the clinic. Now that will bring men into the clinic. If they're having symptoms of low T, they come into the clinic.
See, that's what I thought you were talking about when you said below the belt.
That and ED and yes, all that's in that same umbrella. You were right.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Challenges.
When you said family reunions, we incorporated a health class in our family reunion last year. Yes, we have several doctors. They say my family reunion is not even a family reunion, it's a family conference because we have so many pieces to our I mean, it's from Thursday to Saturday and it's like chock full of information, but we have several doctors in the family and we actually had an exercise class.
Great.
And we had a health class where the doctors came and spoke and talked about all of our genealogy and what's prevalent in our family and how to get screened for it. And it was amazing. It was wonderful.
That's good. Hats off to you all. Keep that up because you all are saving generations to come just by doing that.
Yes. So, but it's very true. We hadn't had it, but that's a great point that families should include that in their family reunions and talk about it. It's something that you really need to talk about to save generations.
Right. All right.
Yeah. What's some of the most common health questions that men typically ask when they come to see you?
Look, when they do come,
When they do come.
Okay, so when they find out I'm a guy and they come to see me, a lot of it is going to be below the belt. They're going to start out below the belt because most men are comfortable talking to another man about things below the belt. So if they're having any challenges from an erectile dysfunction standpoint or bedroom performance standpoint, and you can get them into the office and they see me, we're going to have that conversation. We're going to likely talk about their testosterone levels. A lot of men like to talk about their belly fat. And, you know, I'm in pretty good shape. I exercise on a regular basis, but I ain't had a six-pack since the 8th grade. And a lot of men think they're going to get a six-pack. I'm like, where you going to get it, at the corner store? Because we ain't going to do that in here. But they come in, they want to lose this belly fat. I'm like, man, let's be realistic. That's your diet and your exercise. And even with all of that, you're probably not going to get that six-pack back. Some men are focused on weight loss, but then a lot of men want to stop or get off their medicines. So I get a lot of questions about what can I take naturally to get off of this blood pressure medicine, to stop taking this diabetes medicine, to stop taking this medicine for depression and whatever. So I hear a lot of that. And then ways to naturally lower their blood pressure. Those are some of the top things that I see in practice when men come into clinic.
I have a question, kind of going back to something you just said. Is that a formidable goal to try and get off of medications with diet and exercise, or?
Okay, so I'll put it like this. If your condition is induced because of obesity, you know, when we were doing the gastric bypass, and if y'all didn't know now, Ozempic, the new injection, that's the new gastric bypass in a syringe, y'all. So you didn't know that, and it really works. Oh my God, it works. Say for instance, you have pre-diabetes, you have hypertension, you have high cholesterol, that is all associated with just being overweight. We have had patients that we've done the gastric bypass on or some other weight loss method on them. And those conditions have been reversed because they were all induced because of the obesity. It still doesn't mean that it's gone, but because of the immediate loss of weight in a short period of time, sometimes those conditions will rectify themselves for a moment. But if there's a genetic predisposition there in the family, if mama got it, daddy got it, all your siblings got it, you may dodge it for a while, but it's probably going to come back. And the goal with medicine is to give you the lowest dose, the least amount of medicines to control whatever conditions it is we're trying to manage. Now, getting off of the medicine, that's hard to say because blood pressure doesn't just go away. Diabetes doesn't just go away. So we may be able to reduce the dose to the lowest dose possible, but to take it off altogether, unless there's some other secondary cause that's causing it, that's not always a realistic goal. And I always try to tell patients is, look, I don't want to give you unnecessary medicines unless we really have to. But in order for me to help you in that area, you got to do your part outside of this office. You got to eat right. You got to exercise. You got to cut back on your smoking, stop drinking. You know, all the stuff we tell you to do. And if you're not going to do that, I'm going to keep writing this script. That's just it, case in point. But if you stop taking it all of a sudden, you could end up in the ICU and possibly the morgue in the funeral home. So the choice is yours. And we all have a right to make poor choices. We do it all the time.
That's so very true.
Wow. That is some good information. That's good information.
All right.
Yes.
How can we get a hold of you, Dr. Eric?
I'm on social media. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I do have a YouTube channel. It's going to be Pryority Male. That's spelled PRYORITYMALE. You may also see it with LLC on it, but you'll see a picture of me with a stethoscope around my neck. You'll know that you have arrived. Also, you can go to the website, which is going to be www.prioritymalellc.com. And you'll be able to see where you can submit like a message or you can call the office. Again, keep in mind, we're quite busy, so it may take a little time to get back with you. But if you take those avenues, you can reach me, and you can also DM me on any one of the social media platforms, and do allow me some time to get back with you. I pride myself in getting back with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that information.
You're welcome.
All right, Kimberly, we're out. Let's end this show. Thank you so much again, Dr. Eric. And we really appreciate your time. Thank you for being here. You're listening to The Better Show on 88.7 FM.
All right. Thank y'all.
Have a good day.
All right. Take care.
Happy June, y'all.
Happy June.
Yes,
Take care of each other.
Yes.